Times are hard for a lot of us right now, especially gig drivers. Inflation, oversaturation, holiday time, inclement weather, people not ordering as much, too many drivers on the road, same amount of orders, programs changing with all these apps. Let's talk about it.
Pedro, DoorDash Santiago, back at you with the RideShare Guy. During the holidays, during the winter months, it can be a lot harder to know when is it going to be busy, especially on DoorDash. A lot of these markets are oversaturated with new drivers. Drivers that used to work, but now they're working again in the food delivery game with DoorDash or Uber or Instacart because the holiday season is here. And a lot of us are saying, and I'm hearing, and we're hearing from each other, it's harder out here. Too many drivers, not enough orders, programs changing left and right. So here are a few tips and things that I think, because inflation is a thing as well when you're going out getting your groceries, we can do over the next couple of months as it stays cold in the winter and after the holiday to keep making money. Tip number one, and one thing we have to realize is these months around the holidays and when it gets colder are very, very different. You're not going to get all the good orders like you did a couple months ago sometimes. You got to be willing to adapt. Try different apps. I've been doing a lot more Instacart lately because people need things shopped for them. They don't want to go to the stores. I'll do it for them. Adapting during these winter months is paramount. When you used to be able to turn on your DoorDash app and dash now, it might look very different in your zone. Adapt or die when you're out here during the holiday times. Super, super important. So as inflation hits us and it's harder on us, you got to understand when you're doing shopping, consumers are shopping, so it's harder on them. How they spend their money is going to change and be different. Find out what apps or what type of work are good in your market and try to do something different. Because a lot of people out here struggling. It's not just us as drivers. Look at these $5 orders. The reason they're $5 is because of all the fees and all the inflation. It gets passed on to the consumer. And when the confidence and buying power of the consumer, the people that tip us and use the service goes down, our opportunities do as well. The upcoming month, January, coming up after the holiday, is historically one of the slowest times for DoorDash, Uber, Instacart, Grubhub. We have to prepare ourselves. Many seasoned vets in this industry of gig work actually take a lot of time off in January and they prepare themselves the other 11 months because they know it's going to be slow. So what will you do when it's slow in January? Here are a couple additional tips. If you're somebody that does this part-time and you also have a part-time gig in a W-2, maybe you can get a little more hours on your W-2, work a little less when it's slow in the gig apps, and come back to the gig apps when they're busier. If you're part-time and you're worried about oversaturation, January slow, you might have to pick different times that you actually go out and work the apps and adapt in that way. You might have to also in January, if you only work 4 days a week, you might need to give 5 days a week. You might need to work a little bit more. Now that's not something you want to hear, but that's a fact. Short-term adaptations and things like that and changes of scheduling and times could be beneficial. You might have to work a little bit more or a different app to make the same kind of money, but know that January will pass and it will get better after the holidays for some of us. For all the full-timers out there right now that are used to only working one app and usually good with that, you can make your $150, $200 a day on DoorDash and Uber and Instacart. You might need to fold in other apps. As oversaturation hits, as inflation continues, a possible impending, or some say we're in a recession already, the way people spend their money will change. You need to follow that money in your market, see where people are spending their money on still, and adapt to those type of apps, whether it's gig work or W-2 work. And I want to leave you with a few things that I do on a weekly or daily basis that help me. When I'm making a little bit less money, not enough orders, money's a little tighter, I'm worried about what's going to happen in January, I see oversaturation, I try to save money where I can. So if that means packing a lunch, if I'm going to work 6, 7, 8 hours and need to have lunch, I don't go out to spend $10 or $15 or $20 on my lunch for my break time while I'm doing gig apps. I bring a sandwich, I bring a banana, an apple, I make a burrito in the morning to eat. I make sure I'm not spending money if I'm not making as much money. Little things like that could really help. Bringing a water versus buying a water can really make a difference over the course of a month. Last tip, in these holiday months, you do have certain events that still happen, whether it's certain basketball events, football events, holiday parties. Knowing what's going on around you, asking your local business with those relationships that you have, what do you guys got going on? You got big orders coming, you got this, it's gonna be slow, it's gonna be busy. Looking up calendar events for your town, your city, your state, what's happening around you. Knowing that could be really, really, really key into knowing, should I go out? Should I not go out? What area should I be in? Things like that can make a big difference when it's slow. So drop a comment what some of you seasoned vets out there, all the OGs in the gig economy, what do you guys do in the holiday time if you see oversaturation? In an inclement weather state, if it's cold and you don't want to go out, you don't feel motivated to go out, when January comes and it's slower, what do you guys do? Drop some comments down below. All my new drivers out there, let us know how long have you been doing the gig apps and how have they been for you during these times. And no, you mostly control how you move and what you can make. Marketing can dictate some of it, but it's our responsibility, and we should take personal responsibility to be able to adapt. Adapting will be bigger and more important than ever, I believe, in 2023 and beyond. The way the apps are moving, the way the consumers are using them, the way the apps are choosing to pay us, the amount of people that are doing this type of work, whether it's part-time or full-time. In some markets, there's less fish in those lakes. A couple years back, last year, a lot of fish, same amount of fishermen. Now, we have less fish because there's more fishermen going there. There's more drivers trying to fish from that lake. You gotta adapt in 2023 and beyond. If you enjoyed this kind of DoorDash content or other gig-related content, check out this next video coming up, and I'll see you every Sunday. We drop new DoorDash content videos on the RideShare Guy.